Hi there. When people ask me why I do what I do, I tell them that my why has developed out of experiences and stories throughout my career. I've worked with a lot of people over the last 20 years, and I've watched as some of those people have moved on to bigger and better opportunities. I've also watched as some of those same people get into their new roles and they quickly forget where they came from. They forget what their previous job entailed. They forget who helped them along the way. And they forget what it felt like when it seemed like no one was listening or no one was advocating for them. It's that forgetfulness that helped me decide I wanted to be in a leadership role. I promised myself and my peers that no matter where life took me, I would never forget where I came from or who helped me along the way. My name is Jenn Durrett, and I'm the lead diagnostician for Tomball ISD.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. I'm going to share a few things with you today about Tomball ISD. And the first thing is how Tomball ISD supports its diagnosticians. And then the second part is how that has helped our district to achieve a nearly 80% student inclusion rate, which is 10% above the state expectation. Okay, so the diagnostician support line in Tomball ISD is long. And for us, support begins with having a close-knit team. And so in Tomball, I would say that most every diag at some point has been heard to say and tell somebody that they feel like their team is a family. And we really are. We're very close with each other. We have created a text messaging group, in fact, and in that text messaging group, we not only ask and share professional questions, but also personal and supportive questions as well. And so in that text message group, it's a place where diagnosticians can go and they can ask work-related questions and get answers almost immediately from another peer that's in that group. But one of the nice things about this is that it also assists the diagnosticians who are still learning, the new people. You know, sometimes when you're new, you don't know what you don't know, so you don't know to ask certain things, and you may not be aware that you're not doing something or you are doing something that you shouldn't. And so one of the nice things about having a group like this is when somebody asks a question, even if you didn't think that it was a question you had, you're now seeing what somebody's asking and you're seeing that answer. So you're learning along the way. And I love that about our text message group. Our group is definitely a place where we all feel safe and that we can share things of a more professional nature and also a personal nature when needed. The next thing on the list here is that new diagnosticians are given a go-to person or a mentor. And so in addition to having me to come to as the lead when they have questions, you know, sometimes I'm not always available. So they are assigned somebody else that they can go to. This is different than the text message group because this is meant for more of your technical questions, your very specific situations. And sometimes, you know, when we ask that question to 5 different people, we might get 5 different answers. So this helps to alleviate that by telling our new diagnosticians to either go to me or go to their go-to or their mentor person to help with that. We also have new diagnostician bi-weekly meetings where I meet with them and we go over the very specific questions that they have, any of their burning questions, and then also the specific details that they need in order to get their job done. In addition to meeting with them bi-weekly, I meet with all diagnosticians once a month where we'll go over any changes that are occurring within the department and how that impacts us and our jobs. Our student support department hosts a crosstalk meeting a few times a year, which supports the entire evaluation team. On these days, the diagnosticians, the LSSPs, the speech pathologists, and all related service providers are together to gather pertinent information or communicate and plan accordingly. Having everyone in the same room, or this year in the same Zoom, helps to make sure that we're all on the same page and we have an opportunity to collaborate with each other, even our feeder campuses. A few times a year, I hold an evaluation writing day for diagnosticians, particularly new diagnosticians. This is where members of our team are asked to bring current evaluations that they're working on, and that they'll write their reports alongside me and everybody else that has come to the meeting. The purpose of these days is so that you can get immediate feedback to the questions and support that you need while you're writing your evaluation, rather than waiting to have to table that part and come back to it later. I'm sure that you all can relate that at some point when you're in the midst of writing, you'd rather have that answer right away, that it can be time consuming or frustrating or confusing to have to come back to something after you've already passed it. This way, you don't have to jump around and you can just keep on writing and going and learning as you go. Another wonderful thing we have is our intern collaboration with Sam Houston. Tomball ISD has a great history of collaborating with Sam Houston State University, the graduate program for diagnostician certification. This collaboration allows Sam Houston students to come to Tomball to be mentored by some Tomball diagnosticians. And the nice thing is that this opportunity isn't just limited to Monday through Friday during work hours, but we're really fortunate to have Saturday testing clinics at Tomball. This is where Tomball ISD diagnostician would have the opportunity to sign up a student that they're currently in evaluation with to come to our Saturday testing clinic. That testing at that clinic is completed by a Sam Houston graduate student who has been cleared to perform those particular tests. It is supervised by certified staff, and then the diagnostician, the Tomball diagnostician, would then take those test results and complete the FIE accordingly. One of the great things about the Saturday testing clinics is that not only helps the diagnostician to complete their evaluation, but it also gives the graduate student an opportunity to complete practicum hours and one of the best, most hands-on approaches that you can find. Not to mention, another benefit is that it allows Tomball ISD a very authentic opportunity to observe potential job candidates for future hiring purposes. And finally, one of the other support lines that we have for diagnosticians is our assessment breakfast and collaboration, or our ABC meetings. I started our ABC meetings last year in an effort to find a way to provide assessment staff an opportunity to get feedback on evaluations that they were having difficulty with in a safe environment. In these meetings, assessment staff can bring any difficult cases that they're having, any sticky situations to us, and we can talk them out. I've heard from people throughout the years that the term peer review can be thought of in a negative light. So I wanted to create a space where assessment staff didn't feel like those in attendance were there to give them this, aha, gotcha kind of situation, but that it was more supportive along the way. Additionally, one of the nice things we've been able to do is that with light being shown on the fact that there is over-identification of Asians with autism, Tomball has begun using the ABC meeting to support this issue. And so in doing so, we've asked diagnosticians to bring to the ABC meeting their evaluation cases of students of Asians with autism, both pre and post assessment to the ABC meeting, so that we can help to support evaluators in determining the most appropriate evaluation measures, the techniques, and determination in the end. I'll say that with COVID this year, our ABC meetings, they've gone virtual, so no breakfast is involved. But the supportive, encouraging environment is still present. And so these meetings, again, are open to diagnosticians, speech pathologists, LSSPs, and any other assessment staff that are needing support. Right. So well-supported and educated diagnosticians are key to Tomball achieving the 80% student inclusion rate, which is 10% above the state expectation. However, we need to understand that inclusion is built on the premise that all students are valued for their unique abilities and included as essential members of the school community. We need to realize that inclusion is not a place, I'm sorry, it's a way of thinking. Inclusion is not a place, it's a way of thinking. For inclusion to be successful, teachers have to change their mindset. Teachers have to release some of their traditional roles. What this means is that general education teachers have to understand that the curriculum is not theirs alone to teach, that they're supported. And that special education teachers have to realize that they have to be able to abandon that feeling that, well, these students are not going to make it without me. And so this is where we as diagnosticians come in. I like to say we're kind of like the bus driver. You see, both groups of teachers require shared knowledge and skills about students in the curriculum, as well as time to collaborate. And we, as the driver, we have to take them where they need to go in order to facilitate this change in mindset and help elicit good decision making. So that's where this comes in. This slide shows you that in 2016, 54% of our special education population received approaches or better on the STAR test. And then in 2019, that percentage rose to 59%. Furthermore, last year in 2020, the state expectation for inclusion of students into general education for at least 80% of their day was 70%, meaning that they expected at least 70% of special education students to be in general education for the majority of their day. At the top here, you can see that Tomball's inclusion rate for last year was nearly 80%. It was 79%. That means that 8 out of 10 students in special education in Tomball ISD spent most of their day in the general education setting. So what this shows you is that while we have this high inclusion rate, which is above the state expectation, you can see on the left that our STAR scores have also steadily been rising for our special education population. So how does Tomball ISD do it?